So remember the time I strangled you and set the lab on fire? I want you to know that won't happen again.
M3GAN 2.0 is now in theaters, so let's talk about 5 things you might not have known about this campy sequel. Hey everybody, I'm Killjoy Jake, and instead of having friends, I have horror movies. Before we crack into our list talking about 5 very interesting tidbits about M3GAN 2.0, I do want to warn you guys that there are spoilers ahead, so make sure you've seen the movie first before watching this video. Also, if you like the goofy little videos that you see on this page, one of the best ways to support us is by picking up something over at the merch store, like one of these epic shirts to show off your love of horror movies and lack of friends. Thank you all for the support. Now let's get into the video. Thing number 1. M3GAN's appearance was altered for this sequel because the actress who plays her grew up in between films. Amy Donald, now 15, was 11 years old when they shot the original film, primarily in the suburbs of Auckland, New Zealand. This growth spurt affected the story, which is why you have M3GAN asking to be taller this time around.
And while you're at it, make me taller.
This was a pretty simple task for the Academy Award-winning Morit FX studio, however. They're responsible for bringing both incarnations of the killer doll to life. Talking about working with Amy, Adrian Morit, head of the FX studio, says, "She is such a joy to work with, a real trooper. And I think that everybody was enamored with her, and it just made sense to bring her back in the second movie. So I think that the script was altered or adapted to make sure that she would fit within the story." Adrian talks a little bit about how they shot M3GAN, so like when they would do the longer shots or some of the dance sequences where M3GAN's got to be really physical, they would have Amy Donald put on this fake M3GAN head. But then for some of the more medium or close-up shots, they would use an animatronic doll. So Amy would essentially breathe life into the character, while those close-up shots would remind you that she is still just a robot. It's very similar to how they shot Chucky in the original Child's Play. Director Gerard Johnstone even called it an elevated Muppet movie. Talking about the design and working with Morit FX, he says, "I thought, why are we making something that looks like a toy when these guys can make things that look human? Wouldn't that be really fun if we went further into the uncanny valley than we've ever gone before?" And Adrian and Kathy were the perfect people to partner up with on that. It's because of the hard work from the husband and wife duo here, Adrian and Kathy, that M3GAN has that off-putting look that matches her pretty cold demeanor. Her personality was a huge draw to the original film for me, and thankfully it's just as hilarious this time around. Thing number 2, the McGraw sisters are becoming Blumhouse staples and major stars. Before I made this video, I literally thought they were the same person, but Violet and Madeline McGraw both have Blumhouse horror sequels releasing this year. Violet just reprised her role of Katie in M3GAN 2.0, but Madeline McGraw will be playing Gwen in the upcoming Black Phone 2 this October. These kids are friggin' talented though, because not only are they working in front of the camera, but they've just recently gotten behind it as well. Last year, the sisters starred in and produced the supernatural horror film The Curse of the Necklace. Violet talked a bit about this project as well as other endeavors they hope to get into soon, saying, "This is totally just the beginning of it, and we've produced 2 movies already. I think we can definitely go further. We both want to do more behind the camera stuff as producers or maybe even as directors, but we'll definitely be co-stars with each other again." That is super sweet, and the sisters actually just wrapped another production that they co-starred in and produced called High Stakes Holidays. It sounds like it's less of a competition for them and more of they just want to make things together, and I absolutely love that vibe. Thing number 3, bitches, it's Pride Month. Let's talk a little bit about how the gays have claimed M3GAN as their own. According to actress Allison Williams, the LGBTQ+ community have essentially claimed M3GAN for her sassy line deliveries and crazy dance moves. The actress and now producer really wanted to deliver a sequel for everyone who made the original film such a success. Elaborating on this, Williams says, "If we had made a movie to try to give the gays what they want, it would have been rejected with such fierceness and ferocity. It's just because the first M3GAN we made, we committed to the bit and to her energy and to her persona, and made this fierce trio of ladies who were living to their fullest expression of themselves. That was appealing." Allison also talks about her producing role this time around, which she describes the initial meeting as me in a room with 4 straight men in their 40s. Digging a little deeper into that, she adds, "The engine behind M3GAN is Gerard Johnstone. Talk to him, look at him, and just know that everything that comes out of her mouth really comes from his essence somehow. They are on diagonally different points on a plane of personality types and identities, and I just love that. It was like, put our heads down, stick to the tone that we had thought we cultivated for the first movie, keep most of the hero characters, develop them 2 years down the line, add some new characters, and then in the making of the movie, dead serious high stakes. Play the reality of it and then let it be ham after. It's so hard to describe creatively, but that was kind of the endeavor. Speaking of the director, thing number 4 is Gerard Johnstone. Wouldn't be surprised if this series went on forever. Obviously, Megan's main attraction is her campy humor and her ability to spill tea. I especially love her little rivalry with Gemma and real-life actress Allison Williams. Watch some of the weirder marketing for this movie, it is so worth your time.
Oh my god, you're holding a sword? Why? You can't harm the journalists you talk to. You know that, right? That's not cool.
Wow, for a meat sack, you can talk a lot. Get out. Would have taken points off because the actor who plays Rose is so annoying, but at least she dies.
But it's the commentary on AI that will make this franchise endure. Talking about the relevancy of this franchise, Johnstone says, if AI does bad things, is that really because the thing itself is bad? Or is it because of the way we've trained it? This is a theme of the new movie, comparing parenthood to what we're doing to AI right now, basically forcing it to work for us. Will it go all Terminator on us in the future because of that? In reference to how AI is going to be a talking point for the foreseeable future and how Megan will continue to be relevant, Johnstone says, I would not be surprised if there's another 5 of these movies. So who knows? Maybe I'll come back for the 5th one. Whether or not you enjoyed this latest movie, there's no denying that these films hit on one of the biggest hot button issues of the times. AI is a controversial technology that is taking jobs away from those in the entertainment industry. The unfortunate part is it isn't going away anytime soon. While I do have my criticisms of this sequel and the focus here is much more the comedy versus the original film, I will continue to applaud this series for shedding a light on the dangers of AI. There's thoughtful examinations in both films that explains why it's bad and not just completely outright shuns it. It's important to know the why, otherwise you're just listening to a bunch of people shit on something. Gerard also examines the comparisons between M3GAN 2.0 and one of the greatest sequels of all time, Terminator 2, saying it's really funny because the comparison started after the script was written. I thought, yeah, I guess James Cameron did it first, like everything else, but I was really focused on a redemption arc for Megan. I will also say that T2 would be more similar to M3GAN 2.0 if it was a redemption story for Arnold Schwarzenegger's first Terminator from The Terminator. Terminator 2 as a completely different robot. While I agreed with Johnstone on that first little bit, here I totally disagree with him. Arnold's Terminator 2 character still represents Skynet, but just like Megan in this film, kind of switches sides a little bit. To put it into robotic terms from both films, the morality switch was turned on. And also, the iconic ending of Terminator 2 is pretty much replicated here. You have Arnold Schwarzenegger's character saving the Connors from the T-1000 and dies doing it. Basically, the same thing happens here with Amelia serving as the T-1000, Megan is our Arnold, and the Connors are of course Gemma and Katie. I'm not going to call it a ripoff, but it is certainly referential. Now, before we get into our final thing, I want to real quickly ask you to subscribe to my horror gaming channel, GullGotha. We're about to have another crazy long live stream over there this Saturday playing the new repo update. Make sure to check it out and help us get to our goal of 1,000 subscribers before the end of this summer. We greatly appreciate your support over there. Thank you to everyone who has already checked it out. Now let's get back to the video. Finally, thing number 5, there's a spin-off film in the works and releases in less than a year. Titled Soulmate with an 8 replacing the A, producer James Wan describes it as set in the same AI world but seen through a more grown-up perspective. One that embraces all the great erotic thrillers of the 90s. It's like Fatal Attraction, but with robots. Kinda sounds familiar, doesn't it? Although I'm not necessarily sold on the concept because we've gotten a lot of films very similar to this recently, I am digging the lead role being played by Evil Dead Rise's Lily Sullivan, who's playing the killer sex bot. That's awesome, but as of right now, there's no word on if we're going to see any of the other characters from the main timeline of Megan reprising their roles here. This does sound like an issue that Gemma's character may get involved with, however, as we saw her literally working with the government to put some sort of protocol on AI technology in this previous film. Maybe she'll have something to say about this murderous sex bot. It's also interesting to note that with the Conjuring franchise wrapping up this fall, James Wan is likely trying to start another horror universe here. We were just talking about how AI commentary will definitely continue to be relevant for many years to come. So, can the same be said about the M3GAN franchise? Just like with the Conjuring universe, it's already getting its own spin-off films. I will say the box office will definitely be dependent on that, so let's see how M3GAN 2.0 does during its first weekend before we get totally ahead of ourselves here. Speaking with the New York Post, director Gerard Johnstone pretty much confirms that a third movie is going to be made at some point, saying, yes, absolutely, it makes sense for there to be more of these movies. To what extent I'll be involved in, I don't know. He says that he's really looking forward to a holiday, quite frankly, and said that it was really challenging to make this sequel. Johnstone also confirms that he's not involved with the spin-off film titled Soulmate that will be written and directed by Kate Dolan. Soulmate releases at the top of 2026 on January 9th in a very similar release spot to where M3GAN the original came out during 2023. So which thing from today's list was your favorite, and also what did you guys think of M3GAN 2.0? Let me know down in the comments below. Hey everybody, before we wrap up today's video, please make sure to subscribe to this page for more horror videos just like this one. Thank you for watching, please subscribe, and as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.